this episode of the Gunman Raw. So, bit of a masking bit here. We've got spray down the side on this Mazda CX-9, also the front end of it too, and we're blending the front door. I told my boss we probably didn't really need that blend on the front door, but he just said, just do it. I've quoted for it, so just do it. As I always say, mate, he giveth a blend and I shall take it. But yeah, I wanted to do a video today, just to have a bit of a chat about this PPG and just life, I guess. I mean, life's been good. I've finally found like a good balance in the speed that I have to work. I guess I didn't realize how bad it was at the time, but over there in Perth, like, I was working too hard, and yeah, I was just running myself into the ground, if you know what I mean. I guess I didn't quite realize it at the time. But yeah, look, a big part of that is, as much as I like the bosses, and look, I couldn't at this point see myself working there again, just because of the pace, you know what I mean. And yeah, as I say, I like the bosses, but I think it's just poor management. It would be like a big rush towards the end of the week, and I'd just be exhausted every night, physically drained. You know, I just have to sit down every night after work, and yeah, like literally like knees, back, all those kind of joints are really bad. But here it's not like I work slow, but it's just so much better organized that you can actually get the same amount of work done, if not more, because the management around you are just so much more organized, you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm even doing less paint job or less paint jobs or less work. In fact, probably doing more here, but it's just better organized. So I guess what that does is it enables me to do more after work. So what I've been doing these days is I'm living in a house now. Prior to that, I was living in a unit, or actually it was an apartment. And I'm not going to go back to that again. I definitely won't be living in an apartment again. Well, you can never say 100%, but at this point, I have no interest in living in an apartment again. But yeah, I've just been chilling out in the garage, doing a bit of work and having lots of fun out there too. And yeah, I took on a couple of paying customers' jobs, doing some paint work out there, and yeah, it's good. So, you know, life's been good on that side of things. But yeah, so I was getting a bit annoyed with the PPG because I thought it was solvable for a long time, and it turns out it's actually not. It's more like dieback, and I think part of the reason is the clear is way too thick, and I just couldn't get this clear to lay out properly. And I think one of my biggest flaws is that I listen to the paint reps. Again, all due respect, well, to those who deserve respect, I'll give respect, but to the ones that are just assholes with massive egos, you're not going to get any respect from me. But yeah, like there's many paint reps like that. But I ended up putting up a post on Instagram because I was just about fed up with it, man, with this PPG. Like, I tried every single thing I could think of to get rid of that dieback, and I just couldn't get rid of it. And I put a post on Instagram, and one person said the base coat itself, you should be putting it through a viscosity cup. And basically the long and the short of it, if the base coat's like too thick, it's probably not drying out properly. So what I now think is, so this is like, what do they call it? Waterborne. So it's still actually got, I think it's like a latex base. So the water part of it, it's not water-based paint like the finger paint or like the kind of, it's not like watercolors that will always wash off with water. There is something else inside there, like maybe some alcohol type base or something like that, or latex, whatever that means, you know, in paint. But I think that part of it was still staying wet, so it looks dry because the water's come out of it, and it wasn't actually properly dry. So what I think thinning it down more does is actually will make it cover. It won't make it cover as well. And I'm going all the way up to 30%, mind you, so quite high with the thinners. But it's dropping through the viscosity cup at the recommended speed. So if you look at the recommended speed for EnviroBase, it's like 22 to 26 seconds or something like that. And even at 20% reducer, it was still running through it like 40 seconds. So it was still really, really thick, even at 20%. So I've found a good rule of thumb, 30%, which, as I say, it makes it quite thin, but it makes it go down so, like the first time I started doing it, I'm like, wow, when you tack rag it, it's like feels silky smooth, and it's not sticky, you know what I mean? So that's, yeah, the long and the short of it is, I think the more reducer helps it dry, and I think it was what I thought was solvent oil. I thought it was like a really fine solvent oil. Well, I think it's now dieback because the base coat wasn't properly dried. So I've been putting more reducer in the base coat and also been putting more reducer in the clear. So yeah, they ask for 3 to 1 to 1. Well, they tell you 3 to 1 to 0.8, which is way too thick for this clear, the 136, which is 8173. For anyone outside of Australia, D8173. Mate, it's identical to 136 clear, which is the Aussie clear. So yeah, even with that clear, I've found an extra 30%, and this is me just figuring that out myself. So yeah, I don't know, I couldn't get it to lie down nicely, and I probably stuck at their recommended thinning ratios for way too long, because, as I say, probably one of my biggest flaws is believing what their bullshit. These are also the people that tell you that you don't need a viscosity cup. One of them came in here and was like, I don't need that shit, like getting like full ego type crap, you know what I mean? Like, okay mate, whatever. Like I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, like I'm just asking you, you know what I mean? So yeah, you seem to get that. There's something about painters here in Melbourne, not all of them, but there's a real culture here in Melbourne, and it's not really a good one, to be honest. It's like, dude, you put paint down. Like you're not some kind of a, you know, Dalai Lama or whatever you want to think you are. Like, we're just spray painters, man, you know, get over it. But yeah, so like the long and the short of it is, I'm actually having a lot better results now that I've kind of figured my own way out. And I reckon I would be a better paint rep than half of them, because, well, I've probably used a hell of a lot more of it. They don't spend all day in the booth, do they? And yeah, I mean, the proof is in the pudding that I've got an apprentice here now, and he's doing really well. His results are pretty much like mine, and mine are pretty good. And another thing is, like, we've got these LED ceiling lights. Like, a lot of the governments around here in Australia have been going around and giving them out for free to the workshop. So, but they are ultra high power LED lights, and you see everything with them. So my point in saying, the reason I bring that up is because the clear like seems to die under those lights, whereas you get it under like the normal lights, it kind of looks fine, like the normal fluoro tubes that we got out there, because we've got half of the workshop down the back there's got the fluoro tubes in it. And when you look at the job that looks bad under the LEDs, it actually looks fine under the fluoro tubes. So I think to be fair on those paint reps, part of it is they might not actually have that kind of a light. So what they say it might actually work under the lights that they have, you know what I mean? But like, I would rather have the best lighting that shows me exactly what's going on. So yeah, look, the colors still aren't great. I wouldn't say they're great, but they're workable, you know what I mean, with the EnviroBase. But yeah, look, it seems to be a common thread when it goes with the colors. Like, most people in North America don't seem to have any issues with it, whereas it's generally like people in Australia and like more Japanese style cars don't seem to match so well. Like, this one here was okay. good enough for a blend, but I would like to have it a little bit better, but sometimes you just gotta say enough is enough. But yeah, I mean, I'm not hating it as much as I was even a few weeks ago. But yeah, the extra bit of reducer, well, double, like they say 15% reducer, but it's water, right? They say 15% water with the envirobase, and that's where I started off with spraying this water, like 15% with the envirobase, and it makes it really thick. And as I say, when you go to tack rag, and it kind of feels a little bit sticky, you know what I mean? So yeah, for a while I was like, because I thought it was solvent oil, I thought it was in the clear, I was baking the clear in between coats, and it actually did improve it, because I guess when you're baking the clear, the base coat was baking as well. But now what I'll do, and a good thing about this shop is that the bosses, like, they're not on you about times either. So if they give you a good job, like, they'll just let you take your time on it, you know what I mean? So yeah, like on a good job, I'll bake the base coat out, you know what I mean? And they, as I say, they totally don't mind about that. So yeah, still go 30%, but actually bake that base coat out. Actually, one of the reps from over there in Sweden, he's a legend, man. Like, he's been helping me on Instagram, and he said, yeah, you need there's a special adjuster. If you're getting what you're getting, he said, man, you need the T492, I think it was, yeah, because I think we use the T494 reducer, and he was saying you need the T492. It's like an additive, and I think he said you go 50-50, like half of each reducer. And he said it speeds the reducers up. He said that's what you want to be using in the high humidity and the low heat type environment. So I then went back to my Australian PPG rep, and he's like, oh, I've never heard of it. So they don't even have any over here. And one of the reps did say, oh, I think we might have some in the warehouse. He goes, I'll see if I can find some, but I haven't heard back from him on that one, unfortunately. But either way, we'll see how we go. But yeah, even that's the thing that's made the biggest difference is just 30% reducer, man. Makes a massive difference. And one thing that another guy, again, very helpful on Instagram, another guy is like, no, man, like, it's not that bad. Like, envirobase is good, you know. And he's like, man, you need a viscosity cover, because a point that he made is that they're all different. Like, it's strange in that way. Like, each tinter will be different. If you look at one of the yellows, if you get one of the yellows and you just see that on the stick, it's really, really runny, but then like some of the blacks will be really thick. So that's why he actually said you need to viscosity cup all of your jobs. I don't go that far, because I don't know, just anybody got time for that? You know, I'm not viscosity cupping. I just want to find like a go-to, you know what I mean? Near enough is good enough type thing. And yeah, I mean, look, it is a bit of a pain in the ass, especially on the blues. Like, and look, I'm not going to say it's a great system. Probably out of 10 you'd have to give it a 5 or a 4, you know. I don't know. I guess technical support's got to drop it down to a 4, you know. Even if it was a 5, if you know how to use it, it might be a 5 or a 6. But you know, if they're arrogant pricks every time they have to come in and teach you anything, and it's their way or the highway, and their way is wrong as well, you know, like, or not the best, okay, like, not to say it's wrong, it might work for them, sure, but, you know, if you're gonna be so arrogant, you want to be damn sure that you're right, man, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I guess being a YouTuber teaches you in a certain amount of way to be a bit humble, you know. So when you get people with such big arrogance and, you know, egos on them, you really do notice it. But yeah, as I was going to say before, like, it doesn't cover as well, anywhere near as well as what I was used to. So I still remember the old Sando Blue or Pro Max Pro, man. That stuff's amazing. It covers in like 1.5 coats. So, but yeah, like blues, and this is one thing that's like, it just boggles my mind, mate. Like, they will give you a blue, right? So blues in this system are one of the worst coverage, right? They're even worse than reds, like metallic blues. So then in the mix, they'll just fill the color with transparent blue. It's like, well, blue's already covered bad. Like, transparent blue is for tinting. Transparent blue is what you put into a silver or a white as a tint. You know what I mean? It's like you've got high strength and low strength. Why would you put the low strength blue into a blue? You know what I mean? Like, it's just I can't get my head around why they do stuff like that. It's just bizarre. And it's what I said to the workmate. I'm like, man, it's nearly like they want you to use more color. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why you would put a transparent blue in a blue. Maybe as a bit of a tint where the base, yeah, maybe as a little bit, but don't half fill the color with, don't half fill a blue with transparent blue, you know. And yeah, I don't hate PPG as a brand or a company. It's just, it's not doing it. Yeah, it's not doing the job as well as some others. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. As I say, like, all in all, I'm pretty happy. You know. Look, if the bosses were go, hurry up, and you had to use this system, it would probably be a deal breaker. I'd probably be like, man, I'm gonna go and work at a stando blue shop. You know, even if it meant you'd have to take a slight pay cut, you'd be like, just makes your life easier. You know what I mean? But the bosses are cool. They're not on your back about everything. So, yeah. And I'm close to home. I'm 10 minutes away from home, so that's good, especially in Melbourne, mate. 1 hour is the new commute, seemingly these days. Like, yeah, people in Melbourne, they spend an hour each way in the traffic half the time, which, again, I ain't got time for that, man. That's just too much for me. I don't know, mate. Like, all you have on this earth is your time. Really, like, at the end of the day, like, when I'm 39 now, turned 39 earlier this year, and I don't know, I guess, like, I had a bit of a realization when I was like 29 or 30, around that age. I'm like, man, shit, you know, I've got to make something of myself. Like, I've got to, because I didn't have anything to show for it. Like, I'd had whatever was in my bank account, which was like a few $100s or whatever. Lucky to have $1,000, you know. And I'm like, man, I've got to start saving up, because, you know, I've got to think about my future. And then when I'm about 40, I'm like, wow, my life's half over if I'm lucky. That's my realization of this decade, is like, I've got to make the most of my time. I'm not so much focusing on money as I was 10 years ago, and I think I did well. Like, I bought a house up there in Bendigo, and then I bought another one. So, I mean, I don't own them yet, but I'm doing well financially. But now I'm at the point where it's like, yeah, your time, like, wow, what am I gonna, I've got to maximize my time and make the most of it, I guess. Make the most of the limited time that we have on this planet. And in a roundabout way, I'm going to come back to, I ain't sitting down in the car for 2 hours every day. That's not maximizing your time, if you ask me, you know. Anyway, that was a fun little rant. Hopefully you guys followed and enjoyed, but we're going to have to do a spray painting video on this one. But yeah, mate, life is a journey, and it's been very fun to share parts of my journey with you guys. I'll have to start doing some more vids on Gunman's World again. Haven't done anything on there for ages. Have to do like some gardening vids. Yeah, I've got one job coming up soon, which I'm really looking forward to doing. It's a Subaru WRX, but it's going candy. candy over flakes, so that'll be a really fun one. So next up, I think I'm going to give that a prep sol. Make sure I got all my masking right first. Give it a prep sol, tack rag, and painter. That's looking alright. Yep, all good. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Coming out.